on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think your wife likes me?
I'm going to say, man, right up there. 9.
9?
9.
Are you saying this because I'm your brother?
No.
And we're recording.
That might be why she likes you. She doesn't like many people like you, but I'm like you, and she loves me. So.
All right. See, it's hard to tell with your wife.
You
sometimes.
and I are alike because we're brothers, and
no, I get that.
We grew up together.
We have certain similarities, but also we're different in several ways.
Yeah.
And I think she's attracted to the things that that I don't represent.
I'm really domesticated, I guess you could say.
But that's not what I meant at all, buddy. I didn't mean to offend you.
No, none taken. I can't live this fancy-free lifestyle, that you have over here in Seattle.
Really, do you admire that? I like to think
me.
that you do, because sometimes I envy your life. You know, you got your little kid over there. You got your little wife over there.
Yeah.
In some ways,
that's the perfect life for me. I love it.
Did I sense some sarcasm there?
No. I really mean it. You know, I really want to live in Seattle and hope to soon, but don't
get me wrong, it's fun to live in Seattle.
I would live the same life I do there, just here.
Right.
So there's more culture for my daughter. I wouldn't be out partying every night or anything like that.
No.
But to where there's more culture when I take her for walks, so we can actually go to a park that isn't disgusting, or maybe they are here. I don't know, but
there's
just more to do. She'll be exposed to more than fucking brown hills.
Yeah.
So I would live that same domesticated life, but just over here.
Yeah, no, it's a good place to live. I think you guys should consider it. That's not really what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was trying to talk about your wife.
Yeah.
What she thinks about me.
She loves you, buddy.
Your wife and I have this. I think it's gone back. How long have you guys been married now? Sorry, I don't know this off the top of my head.
Married 6 years.
Together 6 years and 11 seconds.
I think next month will be that we were together 7 or 8 years.
All right. Little hazy, huh?
We got married within a year of dating.
All right. For sure. Yeah, I knew that. So I'm trying to think, as far back as I can remember, like really hanging out with Elvina, she's always at least pretended to hate me, and so that's why it's hard for me to get past a little bit.
Yeah, are you talking about back when she and I were dating?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's really
shit on me hardcore,
and she's really grossed out by like everything you do. And to give her credit, you do kind of leer at her and make.
What are you talking about? Please clarify. You're making me sound like a creep. Am I a creep?
No, you're not. No, you can't remember ever doing like creepy things for humor?
Like putting my arm around her for the sake of humor, PJ.
Things you know are going to gross her out.
You understand?
Yeah.
But why would that gross her out?
Because she knows that that's not natural coming from you. Like, you guys don't have the relationship, and I'm sure she's very happy about that. You don't fucking put your arm around her, talking to her,
and this is that she
saying
has to worry
cornball
about
things.
it.
Dad puts his arm around her and says,
"To be
fair,
fair,
we're going to be able to finish this hamburger."
I can think of a few. I can think of a few instances where your wife would do the same thing to me, where she would, just to get a reaction.
Yeah, be a little creepy.
Put her arm around me or wink at me, something else.
That's what I'm saying.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
No, not at all. I think it's hilarious.
Didn't you tell me if this is too personal, PJ? Don't I recall you telling me one time that you had a dream that I was having sex with your wife?
I did. That was an awful dream.
I can imagine.
We may end up cutting this out, but it was basically a dream where you were pleasing my wife orally. And the main problem with the dream was that I confronted her in the dream. I don't even know what I did with you. I was going to deal with you later. But she was so nonchalant about it. Like, why the fuck do you care? Like, what's the big deal? And first of all, I don't know what that dream meant. I'm sure there's something deeper to it. But
do you really think that?
It was one of those times when I woke up.
It was just a fluke, buddy.
I was mad at her for half the day. And probably you. Like, I don't think you and I talked that day.
Probably better.
Yeah.
I don't need to get my ass kicked to not understand why.
With all the bad TV you watch, I don't think I ever have to worry about you having an affair with my wife.
What, with all the bad TV I watch?
No, like with all the bad, like Jerry Springer and stuff like that, where the brother is sleeping with the
right,
with the sister-in-law, and even on, I'm sure it's on scripted television too. All the
Oh
time.
yeah, absolutely. No worries about that, buddy.
Sound more disgusted.
I'll make constant jabs at your wife, and she does it right back at me.
Yeah.
And so I just wonder sometimes if I take it too far.
If what you're asking me, very publicly, is has she ever told me she was upset by something you did or said? Is that what you're asking me?
Let's go with that.
Never.
Never?
Never. I can honestly say never.
Wow. That's amazing to me.
I'm not gonna say she's never like made a little dig at you or something.
Oh no,
maybe she
that's
thinks you're a
absolutely
bad influence once or twice, but nothing you've ever said or done.
Hold on, bad influence.
It's not your fault.
Anything I do that's harboring my own health or safety, you were doing before me.
But I smoke twice as many cigarettes when you're around, and I
true.
drink constantly when you're around.
It's because I'm cool, right? You're
And
trying to
but-
impress me.
But she doesn't even really have a problem with that.
Okay, interesting.
The cigarettes definitely.
Yeah, that I figured that.
The weed sometimes, only if she doesn't want any. Have any of your girlfriends ever? Let's go down the list.
Uh-oh.
I think
Here
all
we
of
go
your
again.
girlfriends, maybe not the last one, but maybe, because I don't know. We've never talked about it. But some of your girlfriends have really fucking hated me.
Okay, let's go through the list.
Swirly T,
Swirly T, she's the first on the list.
the internet girlfriend.
Yeah, 18. I was probably 18 years old. She definitely hated you.
Yeah.
But you made that pretty easy for her to do.
I was a real online jerk to that girl.
It's easy to be an online jerk. You were one of the early online hecklers.
Oh, yeah. I used to love going into chat rooms and like just instigating and AOL, baby.
Yeah.
Took so long to get on, you just had to get all your aggression out by just shit
I
talking.
know.
And then here's you with this internet girlfriend, and all of a sudden you're being a dick, and we don't have movie night anymore because you're chatting. And
Look, I was getting a lot of my emotions out where they needed to be, which was to this girl in California that I met actually physically only 2 times, maybe 3.
So gross.
No, 3 times. 3 times.
When you were making out with her on that couch, it was like the first time you ever made out, and you just hear how bad you were at it. We all had to hear it.
How many people were in the room?
It was me, that
I'm
friend
sorry
she brought,
about that,
Lisa,
man. That's not cool.
Nick Keogh, her cousin, my later and former best friend Chris. There's a lot of people in that room, and you guys were really going at it. And I remember I could hear you guys clinking your teeth and like giggling about it.
Oh, jeez.
How's that?
To be in your place, yeah. I can't apologize enough. I'm sorry. Anyway, the original question. Oh, yeah, she hated you.
Yeah.
But you brought that upon yourself. The next one, the big one probably,
Yeah.
the one that no longer listens to this
Literally.
podcast, based on some previous discussion.
The patchouli-soaked jungle.
She definitely had some problems with you and your wife.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
That was a big brouhaha.
yeah, it was.
Which maybe we don't go too deep into.
No, but can I tell one
There's some
story?
embarrassing times.
Yeah, there were some embarrassing times, especially on my end. I'll admit it. But
I'm more embarrassed.
one thing I want to bring up, and I think it'll be better not to give a background on the story, really, more than we have already. But I remember I was so afraid of you at one point that I called the police and didn't go back to my own apartment because I thought you would have torn it up
Yeah.
and been waiting with a knife in the corner.
I was being
I really
so
thought you could kill
intimidating.
me. I know.
I really scared
My little brother.
Yeah, that was a weird feeling. Weren't those? How embarrassing.
And it was only a handful of years ago.
Yes,
Think about it.
I agree. about what I think about it. It's in the it's one of
Why
these
talk
things
about it?
that we've never talked about.
I know.
Yeah. So she hid me. What about was there any girlfriend after that other than the last one?
There was an in-between, not really a girlfriend. So no, she my most recent of girlfriends, she didn't know what to think of you one way or another.
I'm not very personable.
No, that's
and-
definitely true. But that's true of me
I
too.
realized that when no, see, I've never gotten along. Like, despite what you say, you and my wife get along great. Like, you guys have, I don't know, at least you seem very comfortable around her.
Yeah, I'm definitely comfortable.
I've never, even when I was instigating fights with your girlfriends, I never felt comfortable around any of them. And even with your most recent one, just because I'm socially awkward, and I'm super socially awkward with the girls.
I'm not sure that's all it would have been with this last one.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Your door's opening.
It's the kitty. Mom keeps suggesting to me that Vincent come on the podcast as a guest. Vincent being our stepdad. How do you feel about that?
I heard he wanted to do a Star Trek challenge.
A Star Trek challenge?
Yeah, isn't that what she said?
Oh, we're in to lose then, I guess.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. If he were to come on the show, there's no Star Trek talk allowed. We already did that in the movie episode a little bit.
Yeah, it was too much.
I can't even say I'm really interested in J.J. Abrams' vision.
No.
I was just humoring Matt.
Vincent might have some interesting opinions on it, though.
Yeah, I could see Vincent's comments being interesting. That's the thing that stands out to me about Vincent. Little background on our stepdad. So Mom and Dad got divorced when we were 8. I was 18, probably. You were 16, 17. And the reason that Mom left Dad, she'd started seeing a guy from work. Vincent, as it turns out. Morgan Freeman, you'll recall.
Yeah.
And
working in a nursing home, they were.
Yeah, that's how they found each other. They both worked together and still do.
This is after Mom left the daycare and started nursing homing,
which is basically the same job.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Did you hear this? Sorry to go on a tangent already, but Mom got kicked in the face by somebody that she takes care of over there. I haven't heard the details on that yet. I wonder if she's got the Alfred E. Newman gap tooth now.
Man, she should fix it if she does. I wonder if she has dental. Probably not. Probably cash it in. Can you do that?
Those payday loan places, they'll take your dental insurance.
Does Vincent? Do you think he even sees movies in the theater?
No, I don't. I think that's like a 2-3 times out of the year occasion for them, and it's always something shitty.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have cable. He watches. Vincent has a vast knowledge of pop culture. I'm a little intimidated to have him on the show just because I think we know our shit once it gets to a certain period. But like he knows all the old timey shit. He can name every guest star on an original Twilight Zone episode who all have never heard of.
But he's also pretty up to date. Like,
oh yeah,
he's aware of all the new shit.
Yeah, I think he's an internet reader. He keeps up on things just through the internet, and occasionally on DVD. Although their DVD collection is
yeah, it's bad.
It's pretty bad. It's expansive, but it's bad.
Mom buys all those DVDs, right? Or is that his taste in movies too?
I don't know. I know he likes the whole X-Men, all that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not so into that, but I think he was really into comic books growing up. Oh yeah, so mom left Dad for Vincent, essentially. She'd started seeing them before they were officially divorced, and she was basically living with them right from the time she exited the house, right?
I think it was him and her at like his cousin's apartment or something.
Oh yeah, at the very beginning, I guess it was like that. And eventually they had an apartment of their own. But I remember at the beginning, I don't know how you felt about this, but there was one time she'd been away from the house, couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 weeks, and we're still trying to accept that this has happened. Not that we didn't see it coming, I guess, but still, it was weird that it was happening, and that Dad was the blubbery mess that he was.
Yeah.
Like, there were a lot of things going on, and then Mom throws on us. She wants us to have like a bonding day with her, and he wasn't our stepdad at that time yet, but this new guy that she's seeing, the guy that she'd been banging while she was married to Dad.
What kind of idea was that?
I don't know. It was too soon, to be sure.
Yeah,
but
you could tell he was forced into it.
And I guess we didn't have. Yeah, that was obvious. We didn't have much say in the matter, I guess.
I think
somehow
Dad
we both
wanted
ended
us
up
to
there.
go.
Yeah. He's like, just I don't know.
Get
what
some
he said.
information.
So yeah, basically, which they still pull that
Is he
trick,
really
both
black?
of them. So yeah, we go to Seattle. We make a day of it. Although I remember you ran off at a certain point, and I was stuck alone with him.
Yeah.
And nothing against him. I think he's a great guy, but at the time, like, I was just bitter.
It was such a weird situation.
Yeah, and I remember the exact situation. We were in the food court, some kind of food court, and you were already gone with your friend or something. So it was just me and Mom and Vincent at the table. And this is my first day having met him, and I've got nothing to say.
Yeah.
I've got the scrunched up face. I'm just pissed for I don't even know why. I mean, it makes sense, really.
Yeah.
But at the time, I hadn't accepted it, and so I was really pissed off. And then Mom slinks off to the bathroom and just leaves me and Vincent hanging by ourselves for a solid 10 minutes. And
what a bad idea.
Yeah. I'm socially awkward anyway. Plus, I hate this guy without ever having talked to him, really. Even though we came back with some collectibles from that place in Pike Place Market.
I got a 7 poster, I remember that.
Yeah, and I had some kind of still frame from Train Spotting. And I remember Vincent commented on Train Spotting even before I sat down with him and had a conversation with him alone. And he started talking about Train Spotting as if he'd seen it. And I thought that was cool, but I couldn't accept that at the time. I was like, fuck you. You don't watch my movies. And then, so we're sitting alone at the table, and Vincent's the first to speak up. This is probably after 2 minutes of dead silence, me not saying anything, not making eye contact, anything. And he says, "Oh, I think your mom may have done this on purpose." And I said, yeah, I agreed with him. And then he started, I don't know, he saw that as an opening. He started telling me about his Army days, which he doesn't know me at all. That's not going to impress me. Nothing against him. I'm sure, he did a lot of things for our country.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that. I've never really asked him.
Really,
he'd probably like it if we did ask him. Let's let him tell his hero stories the next time we're both there at the same time.
Uninteresting.
We'll talk to him about it on the show. Uninteresting? Never mind.
I don't know. Does he have any medals?
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
We could ask him. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't accept him, but then after a while, you just kind of got used to him. And he's so patient with our sister, too, for the most part.
What do you think Mom's plan was right from the very beginning?
What do you mean?
Was she like, okay, obviously you and I were out of the equation. We were old enough to where they weren't worrying about us.
Yeah.
But was her plan right away to get custody of Melissa?
Probably.
Because Dad was hooting and hollering like he was going to fight it, and then went the complete other way.
Yeah. Now he sees her reluctantly 8 hours a week.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, 8 hours a month.
8 hours a month, yeah.
8 hours every 2 months, really.
Yeah.
When it really comes down to it.
So,
not that I've seen her in 3 months.
But I remember him saying that he was gonna get full custody and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. He made a big fuss about it at the beginning.
Yeah.
She's mine too, goddammit. And now he could care less.
Yeah.
Well, his wife could care less.
Because Melissa was with Dad for right when it all happened for the first long bit of time.
Yeah, how long a time?
Oh man, it's got to be months. A few months.
Yeah, that's weird because I pretty much bolted right as it was happening.
Yeah.
And I know you were off in California briefly at that time, weren't you?
Very briefly.
Let's talk about this a little bit. Our family fell to shit. Mom had started seeing Vincent, and we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I moved away. I decided I was going to live with our grandma over in Yakima, which is the first time that I had moved there. I had a lot of family over there, so she was willing to have me. I told Dad, he freaked out. Again, blubbery mess. I can't stress it enough. He was just insane on a lot of levels. Yeah. And I could see that being embarrassing, like me at 18 years old needing to live with my grandma because my dad won't stop crying. But I really couldn't handle it. Everything was in upheaval at that time. If you'll recall, his internet girlfriends and all that weird bullshit.
Yeah.
The breaking down at the grocery store, telling a story to everybody. Stealing money?
The internet lady that stole money.
Yeah. So I'm literally living in Grandma's, I think it was some kind of shed that she had somehow insulated and made livable. And but she was willing to have me, and I got a job. I made some friends. It was a good time for me, considering I was a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
But I was making do.
You really got, accepted by a crowd of people.
Yeah, you know why? Because everybody wanted to bang our cousins, and they thought they could get closer to them through me.
I had some of the same thing when I moved there.
Oh yeah, that was so much of it at the beginning, but that's fine. At least I had people to hang out with outside of Grandma. Nothing against her, except for she is a homophobe. So at approximately the same time was it that you had decided you were going to up and move to California to live with a cousin on Mom's side of the family?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing. There was like no money involved, and by this time,
So you were not 18 at this point, right?
no,
Okay.
I was 17. And Dad, for being such a mess when you left, I left maybe a week or two later.
Insane, yeah.
He was really excited to see me go.
Oh yeah, I'll bet.
Like at this point, like he just didn't want me there at all. So yeah, so I went and I took a bus trip. I took the Greyhound, and
How long's that bus trip?
It was 23
Oh
hours
God.
to Reno, and I got so insanely sick on the bus, and
Like gacking your own lap sick?
no, just like I never got up from the seat the whole 23 hours, and I was just sick when I got off the bus. And we went to a casino.
I can't see myself being on a 23-hour bus ride and not feeling sick by the time you're off of it.
It was awful. And so we go to a casino, and not to be too gross, but I was in the bathroom for like 2 hours.
Gotcha.
I was doubled over. I needed to use the bathroom. And then that was just the start. I brought like $70 or $100 with me and spent it like on the first night.
On what? Can you break that down for me?
Yeah, I went to live with Daniel, and he had rented this house. It was like this really nice house. Like
Daniel's
up on
our
this
cousin.
hill. Yeah, it was this really nice house, and there was but it was in a ridiculously small town, like population 70, and so you'd go to the market to buy the groceries. So
I'm sorry, did you say the town?
Milford.
Milford,
This
okay.
is in Milford, California.
How far away is this from Susanville?
I think it was like 40 miles from Susanville, 80 miles from Reno.
Just really quick, do you remember when we used to tell kids at school and stuff that we were going to California every year? And they probably thought that was pretty cool, except for we were going to Susanville, California every year.
Yeah.
It's a strange little town.
That's a real hick place. They got a good prison, though.
Yeah. The prison gets mentioned in Tarantino movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a pretty well-known prison. I think one of our aunts worked at that prison.
Yeah, she did, and I remember she processed Snoop Dogg or somebody like that. What do I mean by like that?
I don't know.
A rapper.
Yeah, that's exactly what you meant. Nothing more, nothing less. We're not the jam hole over here.
So we go to the store, and there's no groceries in this house. So I spend all the money on groceries, and it's the most random. I never lived anything like on my own before, and it was like Pop-Tarts, and I was imagining this new life I was going to have in California. But meanwhile, we're 40 miles from anywhere, from Susanville, which is a ridiculously small town.
They have a Walmart.
I don't have a car to commute there. Daniel works on like some army base. I can't get a job there. And
why couldn't you get a job there? Don't look good in camo?
I don't know. That wasn't an option. I wasn't 18.
You don't look good in camo, though.
No. I sometimes. But yeah, so I lasted like a week, and I just didn't like it. And
yeah, what all happened there? I remember there was a story involving vomit. Can you tell me that story? And that story alone? Our cousin Daniel, he was quite the drinker from an early age. I haven't seen him in a lot of years, so I don't know what he's up to now. I know he listens, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I remember one time he came and hung out at our house for like a month, which was a big deal because he'd never really come to Washington to stay with us.
Yeah, and this was after
always
Mom
us
and
in
Dad's
California.
divorce.
Yeah. So I was like 18. I had my internet girlfriend, so I was ignoring you guys for the most part. I had an IM conversation. You didn't even call it an IM back then.
Mm-mm.
We had our own private chat room. But yeah, I remember you guys had got a hold of liquor somehow, being way underage, and you guys were fucking smashed. I don't know what you were drinking. Wasn't it something lame like cooking brandy?
No, it was vodka.
All right.
We got a homeless guy to buy vodka, and it was real ridiculous. It was me, Daniel, and my friend Chris, your internet girlfriend's cousin.
Yeah.
So this is like when I first met him, and he like gives the homeless guy $20 to buy vodka, and then says, "I'll give you another 20 when you give it to me." So the guy kept the change and another $20. So he made like $30 because it was a $10 bottle of vodka.
Well, it seemed to do its job, though. I remember you guys stumbling down the stairs. Daniel puked everywhere upstairs. Yeah. That's not the puke story, by the way. This is just a preface.
We also got some boons that night, some Boone's Farm.
Ugh.
And Daniel stole it all and ran upstairs and drank it all before.
I remember I was so high and mighty at the time. But I never told Mom and Dad about that, did I?
No, but you were at the computer typing about it, blogging about it to Swirly Tea.
Me and Swirly Tea had a connection, my friend. Yeah, but what was the story when you were actually living with Daniel?
When we were there, it was he went out. They would go to Reno. They were close enough to Reno to go to Reno. and they would go to some clubs and possibly some ranches out there.
What was the one called? Can we say it? Do they have a website?
I don't know how much we should say.
Buffalo Bill?
The Mustang 2 or something like that.
Ted Levine owns the Buffalo Bill.
So he goes out there. So he goes out to Reno and drinks. And I didn't go with him. I don't know why. I think I was too scared to. I was only 17. I don't know how they expected me to be able to drink. But anyway, so I'm like sleeping on the floor in this weird living room area. And there's a TV in there, and that's why.
What do you mean by living room area? Why can't you just call it a living room? What was going on in there?
It was like a room, and it wasn't a living room.
Were you living in a studio?
It was a big place.
Were you guys sharing a bed?
It was a big place. It was like an extra
head to toe
room, buddy. It was like a lounge.
A lounge.
but there was cat shit all over the floor. But I was sleeping on the floor, and from that little market, I got the VHS of Beautiful Girls.
Nice.
And I was watching that over and over again the entire week. And I was thinking, like, oh, yeah, one day I'm going to go back to town like like Timothy Hutton.
Yeah.
I can't remember his character's name. But
Me neither.
Willie. I think it was Willie. Anyway,
I think it was Willie. Hey, you want to sing Sweet Caroline?
No, not right now. So I fall asleep watching that, and it's on the loop thing. So anytime I wake up, it's still on. It's great. And
they had a loop for VCRs?
Yeah. A repeat play.
I think that's not factual.
Oh, yeah. Repeat play. It
sorry,
stops,
PJ?
rewinds, and starts it again.
I knew that I was wrong even before I started this argument, but I felt like we hadn't had an argument in a little while.
Well, I had to shut you down. So I wake up to not only Sweet Caroline playing on Beautiful Girls, but splishing and splashing on my face. And it reeks.
Wait, it was on your face?
Yeah, like it was. I turn around and Daniel's on the couch, and I'm like on the ground near the couch.
Oh, that's where you were sleeping?
Yeah, and he.
That's where you're sleeping every night?
No, that's just where I fell asleep watching that movie.
That happens to me sometimes.
I think
too.
the couch was gross or something.
I'll fall asleep in some weird places if Beautiful Girls is on.
And he's just drunk out of his mind, and he's on the couch, and he's just puking onto the floor. And it's caused like this huge puddle. So now when he pukes, it just splashes everywhere. And it was splashing me in the face, and it was so disgusting.
And how long did that sit there in the carpet?
I can't say whether it was cleaned before I left.
Do you think it's gone now?
I don't think he lives in that house anymore. But it was a great house. It was huge.
Really?
But
I imagine this is a really small place.
No, it was great. It was just in the middle of nowhere. There's no way I could get a job.
Yeah, that's really strange because you didn't have a car
I don't know
right?
what my plan was. No, I didn't have a license.
Yeah, what was your plan?
It was, and I don't know.
It involved a fake mustache, didn't it?
It's just all
I saw a couple of
so
those
fast.
in your bag.
I was trying to live like a movie. I was like, if Into the Wild had been out, I would have tried to do that.
I hate to tell you, but that's a boring movie.
Yeah.
That's not even a mildly entertaining internet short.
I left and came back lots of times after that. I went to Alaska for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not to live, but
not to live, but you considered living there. I remember when you came back.
Yeah. Same situation though. No place near a really small town I was in, and no place to work. Maybe Pizza Hut, but you have to drive on sheets of ice.
Yeah, that's no good for me.
Yeah.
I've had some scary snowy driving situations. Not that I drive anymore, but I was in the trenches a couple of times going over that Snoqualmie Pass.
Yeah, I don't like doing that.
It's really scary. I remember one time I had to drive our Uncle Barry back to the airport, him and his wife at the time. They're not together anymore. Moment of silence. And it was so insanely bad. First of all, Barry took over driving on the way there, but I still had to struggle with it on the way back by myself after I dropped them off at the airport.
He took over driving because you couldn't do it?
Not that I couldn't do it, but I don't think he could trust me to do it.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, so I remember coming back over the pass, and I'm by myself, and it was my girlfriend, Stacy, her car at that time, which was a big station wagon, as you'll recall.
Yeah.
And so I thought I had pretty good control, and then you get to a certain point, my car spins out of control. I'm going like 10, 15 tops, and my car just slowly starts to spin completely around, and then I end up in a snowbank, like backwards on the road, and some guy had to help me push my car out, and it was that way for 2 hours before I got out of that.
Wow.
And I managed not to hit another car that entire time, but it was fucking scary. Like, I think about it now, I don't think I could handle that anymore.
No.
I don't think I can handle driving of any kind anymore, just because I'm always drunk now because I don't drive.
Did we ever talk about the time when you had bought Simon's car and you broke down in that tunnel?
No. Oh, that's a terrible story. That's probably the worst thing to have ever happened to me.
That's gotta turn you off driving for a while.
Yeah, let me break it down for the listener. I was desperate for a car. My other car had crapped out after like a year and a half.
My other car is the Batmobile.
Did you win that?
Didn't we have that decal on our car? Maybe not.
Most likely. If so, Dad was responsible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my other car had crapped out. I think it was a little 89 Nissan Sentra or something that I'd had, and I liked it a lot, but I really needed a car for the job that I had at the time, because I was working at a gas station, but it was still a half hour out of town.
Yeah.
My priorities were all fucked up. And so this friend of a friend, I don't think he listens.
Okay.
That guy fucked my first girlfriend. Not exactly true. That was a little exaggerated. Anyway, getting back to the story at hand, he had this car. I don't know what kind of car it was. I couldn't even tell you. Like a late 70s piece of shit.
It was awful.
Yeah, and he sold it to me for $200, and that's about as much money as I had for a car at the time. And keep in mind, this is only like 3 years ago. And also, it's a stick, and I don't know how to drive a stick. So, a little side story to this. Dad takes it upon himself, trying to be part of my life again, teaching his 25-year-old son how to drive a stick. And so we're sitting there at this little park on one of the weekends that he has our little sister.
Right, he's using his time with his daughter to do this.
To give me driving lessons. And we're just going around in circles, going through the basic steps in this little parking lot at this park we were at. And I totally slammed into the back of this guy's parked PT Cruiser. And he's an Asian dude, and he comes running off. And we don't even have a chance to just take off. The guy's already running down the hill, seeing what happened. But I didn't really leave a scratch. As clunky as this car that I had was, I thought I would have smashed it,
Yeah.
But the damage wasn't too bad. I gave him all my information, told him just to tell me how much it is. Never heard from him.
Sweet.
To be fair, I gave him a faulty address. And I was wearing a fake mustache. No, so that was embarrassing, but I eventually got the hang of it, and so I had gotten this new job, the job I'm still at now. It was I was living in Tacoma, and it was in Bellevue, so it's like an hour and a half drive in the morning with traffic.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning on the stick. I'm pretty sure I killed the clutch, not to jump ahead in the story. But there's a certain point where I have to merge onto a freeway, and there's like a tunnel, probably half a mile long, that you have to go through. And I can already feel my car struggling, but I have little other choice on this 7 a.m. morning on like my fourth day of work, by the way. I'm brand new to the company. I can just feel it. Like all of a sudden my car just slows to a pace, and I'm already like a quarter of a mile into the tunnel, so there's nothing I can do. And this is morning rush hour traffic, like hundreds and hundreds of cars piled up behind me.
In a tunnel.
And I think, I'll just get it going again, I'll just get it going again. And I convince myself until I'm not moving. And it's only a one-lane tunnel, and you'd think, like, at least certain cars would be able to squeak by me, even so. But no, because the vehicle directly behind me is a city bus, which is also clogging up the whole tunnel, so nobody can get by. And this goes on for an hour of my car being stranded in this tunnel. And I find out in this time through our dad that I was on the radio, like I was a blurb on the radio. People were like cursing me. I had hundreds of people, and I'm sitting in the car. I called the police from my cell phone twice because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I had to get out of here somehow. And so I called the police, and this is like 2 minutes after everybody started honking and flipping me off. And I was like, okay, there's nothing else I can do. 911, right? That solves everything. And so I called them, and by the time I had called, they'd already received several complaint calls on the matter.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we already have somebody on the way. And so literally 45 minutes I'm waiting there for an emergency vehicle to come out.
You couldn't push the car?
No, the bus driver and several of the bus passengers actually got out and tried to move it.
Wow.
And it was on a certain slant, and it was just not going to happen. And fortunately, I was a smoker at this time, so I just chain smoked and listened to people yell the most horrible, most vile shit out their windows.
Oh, my God.
It was terrible. And then, I find out I'm on the radio. Nobody at work has believed me when I'm describing the story in detail. But that really was probably the most humiliating experience of my life. I'm glad you brought it up.
Wow. I can't remember. How did you get out of it?
Oh, eventually, I don't know. They got enough cars to push to the side. I don't know how, or they came in from the other way. I think I don't know how
A
it was
tow
working.
truck or?
Yeah, it's and so the guy comes in his little truck with the lights on, and basically is pushing my car until we can get to a safe off way. And even in that time, like he's like, I just need you to sit in the front and steer while I push your car with my vehicle.
Yikes.
And it's still a narrow tunnel, and I have no real control over the car. It feels so much heavier when there's no juice behind it, you know. And so the guy's like on his PA system. So I'm driving by these cars being pushed by this huge emergency vehicle with lights flashing, and the guy on his PA as we're driving is like, please keep control of your vehicle, because I'm like veering off to the side. It was really awful. And then I sold that car for scrap. Like, I got it to a gas station. The guy was nice enough to take me to a gas station. And then I said, how much will it take to fix this? And they said, $600. That was 3 times more than I paid for that car. And it caused all this trouble. So I just left it there and then called one of those adopt-a-car places or whatever it is.
Oh, wow.
I think I fed an orphan with that.
Yeah, I turned a car over to the junkyard once.
Yeah?
Pretty great. It broke down, and we got it off to the side of the road. It was the first car I bought. It was for like $500, and
was that your Skylark?
No. It was
that car got stolen, right?
It was a Plymouth Voyager. No, not that. It was Plymouth.
Plymouth Voyager is a minivan, I believe.
Plymouth Sundance. That's what it was.
All right.
And it was for $500.
What color was
this?
Of the
road. Like blue. I
don't remember this.
I had it only for like a week. We took it to Seattle, me and Chris, and then when we were coming back, it just stopped. It was just like doing basically what you're saying. I just couldn't use it anymore.
Right.
So I think we hitchhiked or something, or got a ride back to Tacoma, got in Chris's Bronco, came back, and then we pushed it off to the side, and there was just like a car place there. And all we had to do was just give them the title, and they took it. It was the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. I remember with my Sentra that I tried to get rid of, it sat in front of our friend Patrick yard for a long time because I was living with him briefly, but then I left, but my car had already broken down. So I'd kept it there for several months after I'd already moved out. I'm a real dickhead. And he kept asking me about moving it, but for some reason I couldn't because I needed some kind of title that I didn't have.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I was going to get. And I remember he sent me a text a few months after my car had been ditched there. And he's like, dude, you should probably move this soon. Somebody broke out your window. And I was like, oh, shit, I really got to get that out of there. It's really making them look like white trash, you know? And so eventually I figured it out, and I went to the DMV, and I did something, and I got it moved out of the way. And then Patrick tells me later, he's like, dude, I was so fucking pissed at you. It was me that threw the rock through that window. I just stood outside, and I was like, man.
You can't just leave a car there.
I know. I am so inconsiderate. I am such a bad friend in so many ways. The
funny thing is, you just like didn't know what to do about it.
I
never thought to ask.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to ask people
Maybe
questions.
ask Pat. What should I do?
Why didn't I ask Google?
Yeah, really.
Who are you voting for?
I did not get my thing in time.
PJ.
It's the damnedest. Oh,
PJ.
I'm so upset.
This is the election of a lifetime.
Next year.
Wait, let me go back. PJ, this is the most important decision you'll never make. Better?
Yeah, I'm inspired.
Yeah, you should be, buddy.
You know, if I really do believe that if I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the problem, and I believe that I should vote or die. But I missed the deadline. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did. I have my little voters registration ballot thingy right there. My decision on who is next president is laying on the floor right under your feet right now.
Is it already checked?
No, I haven't checked it yet. I was actually waiting for you.
Oh yeah. Shall we pull it up here?
Let's do this together.
This. Now, when you vote, are you voting for only the president here?
No, there's much more to
like
it than that.
8th grade election where you're voting for everybody you've never heard of?
Yeah, exactly. Dino Rossi's a motherfucker.
Republicans. What do you need, a pen?
All right, here's the biggie. President and Vice President of the United States, partisan in office, vote for one pair. My options are Barack Obama and Joe Biden, Democratic
Is
Party
it listed
nominees.
as Joe Biden?
Yeah.
That's not very professional.
John McCain and Sarah Palin, Republican Party nominees. I am a big Tina Fey fan, so...
Even if Sarah Palin wins, Tina Fey said she'll never do it again.
Look who we got in Independent. Ralph Nader and Matt Gonzalez. I watched his documentary. Gloria La Revilla.
You think that guy Matt Gonzalez is like hopeful at all that he's going to get there with Ralph Nader?
Yeah, he probably sleeps well at night.
See, he's got the Latin vote, but women outnumber Latins.
Anyway, the rest of these names don't mean anything to me. Oh, but I do have the option for a write-in vote.
What does that mean?
It means I can write whoever I want to be president, and it will probably happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
It's like that episode of Tales from the Crypt when Harry Anderson was on there and everything he drew came to life.
Oh yeah, I do remember that
help
one.
Me here.
Holy cow! Yeah,
there were some really good episodes of that. You know, I was looking around and I'm very disappointed. No Twilight Zone marathon this Halloween.
That's interesting. I thought it was Thanksgiving.
Oh, maybe it is Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
There's still hope.
Let's check into that again.
PJ,
I'm in the process of voting.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's see what this has to say.
Is this your official voting ballot right
now?
now?
Yeah, PJ, I can't stress this enough.
What do you need, a pen?
No, I don't want to do it in front of you.
Oh, let me vote for you. Let me buy your vote right here.
What? No, Randy.
Speaking of which, is Ron Paul on there?
Oh, he must be. I saw somebody with a Ron Paul t-shirt today. Nice. I had to laugh in his face.
Was it Randy?
Anyway, I obviously can't vote for Sarah Palin. She spends too much money on her outfitting. Am I wrong?
I really wouldn't know. All of a sudden, this was a big deal, and
I know I don't really get it either. But my question to you is, have you ever spent $150,000 on anything combined in your life?
I guess
think about all the money you've ever spent.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm sure I've never made that much. I haven't made that much.
I'm not saying this to make a point. I really want you to think about it. You're just waiting to move on to the next thing.
No,
answer my fucking question.
Okay. Have I spent 100? Okay, well, I've spent all the money I've made. Let's say I've averaged. Let's say I've been working for 8 years. Probably for 6 of them, I was making $20,000 a year, so $120,000. Yeah, I'm sure I've spent $150,000.
Excellent. Me too.
On everything I've ever spent money on combined was $150,000.
Which was a lot of pantsuits, right?
And what is that? What she spent it on? Pantsuits?
I don't know. I don't even know.
It makes me think
I don't even bother to research this stuff.
For you to ask, have you ever spent that much money? It's like I think Punky Brewster did it once, where they had to spend, or it was on the cartoon where they had to spend a certain.
I'm sorry,
amount
Punky Brewster cartoon?
Yeah, you don't remember the Punky Brewster cartoon?
I'm afraid I don't.
Oh, it was good. Every time I turn around, only ran for 2 seasons. Did you know that?
Really?
There's a
same with Gilligan's Island,
but there was that is not true.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
No,
guaranteed.
Anyway, there was an episode where they had to spend like some crazy amount of money all in one day, and other shows have done that too, and you just can't do it.
I can think of the episode of Growing Pains where that happened.
Yeah,
for some reason Ben had a bunch of money to blow.
Yeah,
and he had his 12 friends with Walkmans and tracksuits.
Yeah, that was a good one. And Kirk Cameron bought Bibles for everybody.
But then we'll settle into a CSI or Law and Order episode. Vincent has always seen it at least 3 times before, so he knows every twist that's going to happen. Not that you don't know. Anybody watching Law and Order SVU is pretty much going to know who it is right at the beginning. It's whoever they initially decide is it, and then stray away from that and move on to 3 other people.
Right.
Then you come back.